Good evening, everybody. This is the Lower Makefield Golf Committee August 2021 meeting. Welcome. I will turn it over to Mike Atara from Spirit Golf.
Thanks, Rich. I think we have myself and Ed on the call right now. Mark, our superintendent, should be dialing in shortly, but we'll get started. I've got my screen share going, so hopefully everybody can see the agenda, which I apologize for sending the wrong one earlier. So this is the correct one. So we'll quick kind of just run through the numbers. Everything's been really positive on the revenue side, with rounds of golf being up and dollars being up. So total rounds, you can see right now we're at 27,325. And as a reminder, to the right there, we are dropping in 219 just to kind of give a average of kind of where things were before COVID. So 27, budget was 22.4. So, tracking right to budget and just slightly behind 219. Green fees are tracking the right way at 891. Budget was 858. So that's looking good. And same thing on cart fees. Cart fees 367. Budget was 330. So the other piece, the driving range, which as we get into the monthly financials, is we made the switch on the top tracer and adding in the top tracer, changing our ball count and raising some prices has had a positive impact, of course, on the range. So we've taken that. We're at 113,000 right now. So tracking ahead of budget. And in the first month, really in the first couple of weeks, we were really doing well on the range side. So we'll talk a little bit more about that when we talk about top tracer. Shop's doing great. Lauren and Ed doing a great job with the merchandising, continues to do well, and Dave on the fitting side. So numbers are 116,000 versus a budget of 90. And you can see where we were in 219 at 93,000. So things are looking really good. Makefield Public House, again, just tracking the right way. And the nice thing is both the a la carte and the banquets are up. And if you recall, 2019 was the best year we've had as far as revenue. So through July, we've surpassed 2019's revenue numbers. August is tracking really well, and all the changes we made with the grill and the Friday nights is starting to show. So it's making some improvements. Banquet numbers are continuing to go the right way. We're starting to see some real nice activity on the banquet side and the calls. Just inside the administrative side, a couple of big things we're doing right now. Obviously, John's been there more on a full-time basis right now as we've sourced a new food and beverage manager. We believe we've found a candidate. So we had a second interview today. We'll be talking and making an offer to that candidate, looking into next week. So once we kind of know if that's going forward, we'll share a little bit more on the details and the position. But we're excited to find out what we think is going to be a really good fit for us. SOP is just something I've been kind of focused on, kind of spending a lot of time with department heads now and just standardizing some of our meeting times and trying to knock out a few things as we're kind of resetting the food and beverage department, and Ed with having a lot more going on with Top Tracer, now Fairway IQ coming on board this month. Just trying to really set our policies and procedures so we can take on all this new opportunities that we're finding and make sure that goes smoothly. So with that, I'm going to let Ed jump in a little bit. If anybody got any questions on those numbers, and I think everybody received the financials that we sent. So you could see July really tracked very well. So I don't know if anybody's got any questions or you want me to go into detail on the financials or. Rich? Good?
Okay.
Sorry, I was on mute. I don't have any questions. Anybody else on the committee, anything?
No.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay.
I'll take over a little bit of the golf. Thanks, Mike. Just obviously following up on the financials when you dive into the month, as Mike had mentioned, certainly, July was without question a great month for us, and certainly weather helped. We've had some stretches of some intense heat, but not a typical July, but we didn't have any official rainouts throughout the month. So, but just to touch on range specifically, as it ties back to Top Tracer, when you look at the month financials versus budget, just for the range, we budgeted 22,500 in range fees for the month of July, and we did 26,900. So roughly about $4,500 ahead of budget. And keep in mind, as you see here in the second bullet, our updated range ball pricing and our bundle packages with Top Tracer didn't get activated until July 16th. So we were certainly about halfway through the month. So certainly, the pricing and the packaging and the quantities of balls has really gone over well. And the feedback has been extremely positive from the customer, just with the technology and the overall experience. There's two components of it, and I know most of those of you that have on the committee that have been up there have been utilizing it, which is great. We have the mobile component and we have the monitor. So the mobile component was really a big attractive piece of business, and certainly the monitor brings something totally new to Makefield Highlands. And even when I talked to my peers in and around the section, and I had two personal Facebook messages, one-on-one, one from the Director of Golf of Commonwealth. I've known Patrick Shine for a while. He just reached out and said, so cool that you guys are, got Top Tracer. How's it going? So just the chitter chatter amongst the clubs and everything for us to be kind of head of the pack a little bit. Is really great. So the mobile access has been extremely active. The monitor's has been picking up a little bit. We've been booking those daily. I think we've been seeing in about 2 weeks, we've been seeing about 5 to 6 reservations booked per week. So we're, as the advertising and marketing and word of mouth and really getting people and the customers in front of it, using it, and understanding what they get with it, which is a really great experience, I think helps sell itself too. So I'll dive into a couple things here, but just wanted to make sure the committee knew that as the range fees increase, we've, for the month of July, we've only really been active for about 2.5 weeks here. So hopefully this momentum continues. Touching on some of the promotional ideas, Mike, myself, Andy, a few others have been talking about, and really came from some of our range ambassadors that we hired, have been really, really great for us up there. 2 gentlemen we hired, and they split the week in half and just really kind of walked the customer through, and just a really good service piece for us. So came up with like a little promotional discount card. It's been active for a few days now. We attached it as a attachment in the documents here, so you can kind of take a peek. But we're basically trying to give everyone a chance that who had paid for an 18-hole green fee in the last 2 weeks. We could go back to our tee sheet and validate that, and they get a $10 off their booking for monitor for an hour. Again, just wanting to get customers using monitor, seeing what it's like. Those that have used it and have experienced it, loved it. Mike and I've had some ongoing conversations with Top Tracer, just making sure we're doing all the things we should be doing. Where are we par level with some of the other clubs that have started? So, so far so good as far as all the things we've been doing, and hopefully we'll continue to get more reservations as we move forward. So the radio ads, the billboards, the social media advertising has been ongoing. I put a few attachments in there so the committee can see. Some of the banners that Andy's helped create with myself and Mike and others, just making sure we get all the wording correctly. We've had some really good, you've been up on the range. You've seen some new signage. You've seen things on the ball hut. We have new attachments on the monitors so the customer knows what they can do while they're there. They can extend their time. So again, tried to give you all some examples of what you're seeing up on the range if you haven't seen it in person.
Yeah, and Ed, if I can just add into that a little bit, so that promotional card, having staff up there, having staff engaging the customer on the range and or at the counter or starting is just it's kind of that concierge kind of promotion where we're giving the staff the ability to interact and also beyond just giving the message, but give that $10 off to them. It's a nice piece and it's like a business card style. So it's, I think, going to be a nice add-on. And then having people, ourselves and the ambassadors up there on the range and getting feedback has really helped us, that first week trying to figure out, what they understood, what they didn't understand, updating some signage up there. So people, some people were like, oh, can I use it now? So putting out a sign that it's live was important. Just, getting to that point where people were getting the right feedback from the signage and from the staff of what and how they can use the two products. So, so both those things are starting to create some impact, I think. So it's working well. So go ahead, Ned, jump in.
Yeah, no, and to kind of, piggyback off that, as Mike had mentioned, it's all about, in our opinions, making sure our team and the customer experience what we know is a great product. And so to have the counter staff have the autonomy to talk to the customer, whether it's in person or over the phone, if we're sold out on tee times on our tee sheet, how busy we've been with that. It gives us another opportunity to possibly sell, a monitor experience. Yeah. Pat's daughter, Kelly, who's been working for us part-time, has been great. And she's, along with the other counter staff, have periodically just put that little, plant that little seed, and those seeds are starting to pop a little bit, especially during the days that were Monday through Wednesday, and our golf course gets shut down around 2:00. So now that gives us a chance to create another opportunity for customers that are, non-golfers or golfers that are coming to hit balls. A couple of the ambassadors, we were thinking the same thing. We're like, what? We had 2 large baskets of balls, but the new pricing is $13 each, which is obviously $26. So to be able to get in the monitor for $30 for an hour, Monday to Thursday, and you're paying $4 more than 2 large baskets, and you get that experience plus balls that are there. I think sometimes the customer thought, oh, I have to pay for the 1 hour and then I have to put the balls on top of that. And that's not the case. So the reservation gets them the time on monitor, and then we provide the balls while they're in there. So I think some of these things will give them the customer a chance to get in there, play, and enjoy the experience. So
yeah, and if you haven't already, and I know some of you've been up there hitting, but I would like you all to go through the experience of even booking the monitors online, and give us your feedback. So if you want to book some times, and then we can kind of go through that process so you can see that. We won't charge you, but we'd love for you to help test that product, as and just kind of see how it works for you. And it would be helpful if the committee could do a little of that, and kind of, because we've done a lot of changes to the website. So with the website updates, we'd like to get that feedback from you.
Yep, definitely. We did that with the staff. We kind of had an open open invite, and we're doing that ongoing with staff. But one of the days we had our Bucks County Sewer Water Golf outing. Once the outing went out, we went up and I tried to take the lead on about an hour and a half of time where the staff could get a chance to see it, use it, talk it up. So it was pretty good. So we encourage you all to do the same thing. And the invite's always there. So the YouTube, we'll go through these quickly. YouTube video series, you've seen that. You probably hear me talking, taking up too much of the screen, but just trying to educate the customers on the product and the steps to help enjoy it. Andy and I and Mike are just kind of ongoing. We have to do one or two little things before we go to the turf because the monitors being where they're at under the bays, those are fixed areas. So we don't want the golfers moving up to the turf unless we have it secured for safety reasons there. So you'll be seeing a few more things coming out with another video series. So, and we'll continue to do that, engage the customers through those channels. So, again, excited. It's going well so far. Feedback's been good, both from Top Tracer, from where we're at as a club for early stages, and just hope to keep the momentum moving forward. So, it's been productive. So.
Yeah, so just last thing on Top Tracer, we'll be presenting at the Board of Supervisors meeting in September. We'll have Allison from Top Tracer join us, which was really good because we wanted to get, some data in the system. It'll give her the chance to give us the feedback on, where we are relative to, other openings, and as they're rolling out Top Tracer and give us some comparisons, and it'll be good to have that first month. So early September. I don't know the date off the top of my head, so I'll check back on what date I don't know if James is still on. He probably knows.
James
We'll
on
definitely
few calls, so he's listening, so he's probably not gonna be able to respond.
Okay.
Mike, when you get the date,
So
can you let the committee know? So
yeah,
if they're available.
I think we're the first of the September meeting, so I'll confirm the date.
Okay.
So yeah, that's Top Tracer. Any other questions on?
So I don't, Joe, I'm sure you've tried it. I've been out there. It's really neat. I mean, and it works. It's not that complicated. You can log in from your phone. If you're in one of the bays with the monitors, it's even easier. You guys, you've got good instructions up there. So I think it's great. I like the picnic tables. If anybody hasn't seen it, there's picnic tables behind the bays. So the bays are undercover. So, people who go up there, a couple of folks drink a few beers and hit some golf balls, or, it's pretty neat. You guys did a nice job of it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's really fallen into place. So.
All right, let's keep moving on, I guess then.
Yeah.
The second piece here is, as Mike had mentioned, and you all know, we've been in the process with the Fairway IQ, the GPS tracking devices. So Cameron had gone through the installation on the golf carts. He finished that. The antenna's been up. It's been running. So it's been installed as of the first of the month. We have 35 cars that have the device. So what we felt was probably the best solution was to put them on the odd number golf carts. Right now we have 35 cars that have them. The Fairway IQ system is it's a internet-based web-based that we can log into any portal, i.e. iPad, desktop, what have you. So we're able to, as we're early in the stages of getting trained and understanding the process and making sure we manage it correctly, the counter staff, myself, the pros, the starter that's up on the first tee that has the iPad, we're able to save that as a bookmark so they can access it. And it really just takes kind of a Google map imagery of the golf course. It's really slick the way the whole thing is orchestrated with the Google fences or the geo fences that are laid around every hole. The goal is in the next week to 2 weeks is to have a smaller monitor, maybe about a 24, 27-inch TV monitor behind the Pro Shop counter that we can kind of connect to and have that map or imagery up there, so we, the staff, can manage it, but also the customer can see that we are managing it the way that we feel is the right way. Andy's helping us to get little cart decals. We're going to put them on the windshield, lower portion of the windshield. Just let the customers know, we're using this technology. We'll try to get a little bit of email communication out to the customers as well. So make sure, they're understanding that certainly pace of play is something that's a huge component to the golf world, as we all know. So we're not taking that lightly. The nice part about the grid, as Mike and I got trained on a little bit, is you can set up a few different types of pace of play modules, if you will. So you could have kind of your standard normal pace grid, which when the Golf Association of Philadelphia came a number of years ago, when Bob was with us, our pace of play grid was set at 4 hours and 26 minutes. So that is really kind of our norm during the bulk of the day. So we kind of felt like that little after 9 a.m. to 3 o'clock is the bulk of our day. But you can also have a fast pace grid. So we felt like the first couple hours in the morning, kind of encourage the morning play to kind of stay ahead before the normal pace gets out. So we have two different grid charts, if you will. And what happens is once a golf cart goes out and plays the first hole, on the map, it's a white dot, just so that golf cart, in essence, plays one hole, and then the system can pick up if it's either on pace, behind pace, or ahead of pace for that first hole played. And then once that cart is on the second hole, that white dot then changes colors to like a traffic signal, green, yellow, or red. I can click on any of the dots at any point and figure out when they start it, if they're ahead of pace, if they're behind pace, if we need to communicate to them. Last week I had to get out and do one or two little things to one or two groups, but it was an easy way to service pace with still monitoring it and being ahead of it. That's the biggest key, is right, the flow and getting ahead of it before it becomes a problem. So right now, as we're laying out this management piece and understanding the not only the software but how it's going to relate to our procedures, just trying to get our outside staff. I think Mike and I were talking about a little bit today with Lauren and Joe, like just, I think the easier way to do it, and having been in a lot of different golf barns over the years, is a lot of the rows are numbered. I think in our case, without getting too specific, we can go a row of even number cars and a row of odd number cars, so that when my greeter or my cart staff are putting up in the morning, the nice thing is with the new cart fleet, we have the tow bars, which is a huge help. So we can pull 2 or 3 up at a time, maybe pull a few from the odd rows and then a few from the even rows and keep them matched up. And the goal is maybe to try to have, of 2 cars in each foursome, maybe to try to get one of them that has an odd number. So, and as this continues, is hopefully have a nice success with it. Maybe we can get the even numbers as well as time goes on. So for right now, it's procedures, getting into a routine, getting the customer understanding it, making sure we're, utilizing all the components to it, because there's a lot of neat features, and you're excited to have it.
How are the devices attached to the carts? Are they screwed on, or are they just?
So I think it's like when you lift the seat up, like the customer can't see it. It's kind of tied into kind of the electronic board of the cart. So I know Cameron installed them. Mike, I don't know if you actually, I didn't see him install them.
They're screwed, and then there's like a tab, like a sticky tab that holds it as well. So they're connected to the terminal, to connect the charge to them. And yeah, again, they're kind of tucked under the seat in the engine area.
All right. The reason I was asking was not to see if they were permanent. So you guys are doing it with obviously the odd numbers. That makes sense. I was thinking at the first tee, the starter hands one to the group, and don't lose it. It's in your cart, and then people know you're watching.
Yeah. No, we actually have
We do have
6
some handhelds.
We got 6 handheld as well, Rich, that we'll use. We can hand them for the walking, like give one of the walkers the device so that we can attach it to their bag. Has like,
Yeah, obviously when
carabiner
you
hook
get them
on.
back. Do you
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
does it keep history? So like if
Yeah.
so you'll know after a few weeks where your slower groups are.
Yeah, it'll help kind of set the pace itself too, right? Because it'll tell us exactly where, any slow, not that we don't know, but it'll kind of validate, what we probably know as far as where things would slow down and speed up. But yeah, it certainly helps you, especially on the early holes, when you're looking at hole 3, hole 4, if you can capture a group that's out of position or slow early, kind of like what we talked about earlier, if sometimes you don't feel the impact of a slow group, but till a little bit later in the day, and it kind of trickles throughout the whole golf course, because once that pace is set, it's set. So being able to identify and react to a group earlier, on the second, third, fourth hole has great impact on pace of play. So that's
just
really
so the committee knows what Mike and I were talking about earlier was yesterday when we teed off. It was a good pace for the first 6 holes, and then we caught a group on 7. We ended up finishing the front in about 2 hours and 5 minutes, which is not a fast pace. And then the back probably took 2 hours and 21 minutes, and so we waited pretty much on every hole. So that's why it's interesting to me, because I'm guessing there are a lot of white dots on 10, 11, and 12 yesterday. At that time, I don't know, Joe, you teed off after us. If it was slow or if you guys saw it.
I didn't play Makefield yesterday, so I don't know.
That's what you read. I heard.
But the early groups, are you telling them on the tee, we expect you to play in 4 hours and 5 minutes?
Yes, that'll be the pace that'll be set for them. Yes. Yeah, so we got to set that expectation for them early, that we don't expect a group at 7 in the morning to play at 4.5 hours. We want them to play.
No, that'd be great if the starters communicate that.
And
yeah. So getting back to some of those SOPs, that's some of the stuff Ed and I are working towards as far as re-scripting and the communication and how they present fairway IQ and those things. Yeah, absolutely.
Another just kind of caveat was had a good conversation with Cameron this morning. We were just catching up about a couple other things, and we talked about the GPS, and Mike knows this as well as anybody out there with golf cart management, is just the rotation, just to try to rotate your fleet so that, some cars don't always run in and others get stuck in the corner. So I think the odd even will certainly help with that. But what was interesting when I bring up Cameron's name is when we were chatting about just the devices, he said he was able to log in, and I didn't realize this, but you can log in and we can track how many hours a certain car has been running. So we can tell if, a third of the fleet is, being run more than the other 2/3. So that'll help us to manage the cart fleet, which we all know is a new fleet. And we have, a 5-year lease to it. We want to make sure that cart number 75 is just as good as cart number 1. So there's going to be some other added bonuses to this too, to be able to allow us to help better track it. Because in the past, when we had a different golf cart, obviously we know it was electric, unless you had the little handheld device that plugged in underneath to see how many hours that cart ran, which you A, have to have the right device, and B, know how to do it. You wouldn't really know. So this is, I thought that was a nice little tidbit too. So.
Yeah.
I think
All
it's
right,
good.
let's keep going on.
Keep moving. So just to kind of keep moving with golf, like we mentioned about merchandise, won't dive into it too much, but certainly soft goods, and there's no question hard goods. Dave's doing just an awesome job, a tremendous job with the custom clubs, and really just kind of helping drive extra lessons and instruction as a whole overall. So just happy to see him kind of take the lead there. I'm diving in a little bit more and helping, and Lauren has been teaching more along the way with Joe, so it's been great. If you look into the monthly numbers and see the year end with lessons and junior camps, it speaks for itself. I think we're almost 25,000 over budget just for lessons at camp. So hats off to those guys and gals. The association update, we have our next event coming this weekend. The 21st, we'll do our Stableford. We have a few ladies that are going to participate. Lauren was talking to a few of them tonight that had some interest in joining the association. So hopefully we'll get a few. Joe, a teammate of mine this past weekend with our first ever little Ryder Cup with Makefield and Heron Glen, which was a huge success. Tony Gall and really the players kind of came to me with the idea, and I'd mentioned it to Mike, and it's not like we haven't thought about it before with other clubs, but just made it come to life. And both clubs I thought really showcased well, and so it was really fun, competitive, friendly environment. Happy to be a part of it, and hopefully we'll see this thing continue to grow as the years go on. So that was, and we brought the cup to Makefield too, so that was good.
Good job. Good job.
Yeah, so we have 6 outings scheduled. 4 or 5 of them are, main course closures. We have 1 or 2 smaller outings during the week that are built into the tee sheet. So, as we mentioned to you all before, last year, a lot of outings got rescheduled, obviously, because of the with COVID environment, that most of them stayed into the fall months. So September and October are going to be busy with events on the golf side. And as we mentioned, all the academy things are schools start next week. I know, or a couple weeks. I know there's a lot of anxious family members in my household, but we'll keep. Joe's got some, and Lauren have some fall golf academy programming starting registration and things like that going for the fall. So that'll continue to keep moving, but they're staying busy. And again, Joe, Lauren, Howie, all of them doing a great job for that. So,
Great.
happy to have them.
I don't know if Mark jumped on. Mark, are you out there? I don't think he jumped on. But I can give us the update, and if he jumps on, we can jump back to Mark. But we did, we talked about a walkthrough at last meeting. And it sounded like committee thought it'd be good just, we can do the walkthrough and provide some feedback. We did do that on the 5th. So we kind of, we spent the time kind of walking through each hole and taking notes. So we'll be following up with some recommendations and some thoughts, and just kind of some of the things that came out of that walkthrough. We talked about bunkers, and even the idea of some of the grassing a few bunkers. As Mark and I really kind of looked at everything, there weren't many that we'd say we'd go and just go grass right now, but certainly the small bunker on the right on 3, and the top bunker on the left on 17 are the 2 we definitely would like to look at converting to grass. And so that would help a lot, we think, on those 2. And we did some review, part of that of areas, potholes on the cart paths, some cracking, some of the area around the driving range and parking lot that need to be get some paving done. I talked to Public Works, and so we're going to work out a schedule with them to try to clean up some of the cart path and some of the areas around the range. A lot of the other things that came out were just some of the areas for spraying and weed control management that Mark's doing, cleaning up some of the creeks and along 18, you might have saw we've done, and 15, and he's going to be working on 9 next. So just trying to keep that nice tight look as best we can as he's cleaning up fescues this time of year. Some of the curb lines and some of the areas around the ball washers and those things, they're just at that point where they need to be cleaned and redone with some stone, different things. So Mark's got all that on his list. Parking lot is another piece that we'd like to, landscaping the parking lot and a few other things just to kind of get buttoned up. So we'll be looking at all those. Green aeration is scheduled. I can't believe we're talking about fall green aeration already. But again, trying to get it done a little sooner, right after the Labor Day weekend. Try to knock it out. And last in the spring, you recall, we did very large holes, pulled a lot of thatch out of the greens, which was a good idea and needed. Just took a little while to heal. But now with the fall, he can go back to some smaller, more holes, smaller, to heal a lot faster. So looking forward to hopefully getting some good weather so he can get that on schedule. And just a lot of mowing right now. So grass is still growing with all this rain, storms in between, some hot days, just some challenging weather. We did have Toro come out and help us with some of the irrigation issues that were popping up because of some of these lightning strikes. Did get all of that corrected. We did have to bypass some conditioning lines, and conditioning lines are kind of in place there for protection against lightning. So we're waiting on a quote from them to get us some cost to replace those conditioning lines. But they're important pieces, because if you don't have those, then you get more failures. So a lot of our issues, once we bypass the conditioning lines, corrected with the heads. So that was good. And so now the irrigation's pretty good shape. Corey, our assistant's been really grinding, trying to chase all these heads down. So we're in a pretty good place now. That was it on maintenance. I don't know if anybody got any questions on maintenance. I'll keep moving. Food and beverage, Smokehouse Grill, the new menu that we sent you a couple of weeks ago. I think actually Colin shared that through the subcommittee, and it's been going really well. The Fridays have been busy, we've had some really nice weather. This last Friday was awfully hot. We did decide to bring it inside for the music. Still had a decent crowd, and it was nice. And hopefully this weekend we'll get back to being outdoors again and continue to grow that. But again, the a la carte numbers and the food and beverage, in the month of July, 97,600 versus a budget of 73. So we're really seeing some pickup between a la carte and banquets. So some really good numbers coming forward. John's been working hard on trying to, get ready for a lot of our summer help leaving and the staffing up beyond our restaurant manager. We still need a lot of servers and bartenders and kitchen help, because we get a lot of them go back to school next couple of weeks. So got a few hires in, working on a few more, so we can make sure we're fully staffed. And we all know the world's been chasing employment, so I'm glad we're seeing some people come through the doors and responding to our ads, and John's been able to get a few people going. So really going pretty well. We're really happy. The transition of the menus and the turn menu, and just making that more awareness as the golfers coming around, and setting up the dining room and trying to keep that looking good is helping a lot. So banquet update. Casey, our new banquet Manager's been doing very well. She's her and Ellen have been kind of tag team in banquets, and she is taking more of a lead role as she's getting more comfortable in that position. She's reached out to all the events. The calls and the email logs are looking good. We're getting a lot of calls coming in and a lot of emails. So our fall schedule looks good. We got 9 events for September booked. So the numbers are good. Numbers are kind of working in our favor now. So I just want to keep this positive energy going and the promotion and marketing that we've been doing. So that's pretty much it on food and beverage. Colin, I don't know if you had any other feedback on food and
I
beverage
was
you
just
wanted
going
to
to say, I was at the course on a Friday night, I think 2-3 weeks ago, with a group of, I think it was 6 or 7 of us in the end, and everybody was saying how much of a great time they had. Food was great. We ate oysters from the smokehouse menu. Everybody was really happy with the food, and the atmosphere was great. And there were quite a lot of people there too.
Yeah.
And everybody kept up with the service. We had good attention at our table. They were there when we had a third of a drink. Someone came if we wanted another drink. Our service stuck with us the whole night. It was a really good service, and the food matched it. So I just wanted to say that. And the smokehouse was going. John was working the smokehouse. That was pumping out food. And none of my guests had any problem with only having the smokehouse menu outside. They actually thought it was perfect for that type of evening and that type of setting. So as far as I'm concerned, it's really working well. And my hat's off to you and the team there, because you're following through, and the work and the service we're providing is awesome. I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Colin. I know Travis has been working hard. We brought Travis back in when Amy left, and he's really stepped up and been grinding a lot of hours. And again, just we've tried the service a couple different ways out there, and I think we're pretty much in a good place as far as how we manage the smokehouse grill and those Friday nights, and just trying to set expectations for the customer, because when you have 60, 70 people plop down at one time, you got to get them drinks, and you got to get them happy, and make sure the music's playing, and we're cooking all food fresh. Everything's coming right off the grill and right out of the raw bar fresh. So we're shucking for them and putting together sandwiches. So we just want to make sure we set that expectation. You can't turn 60 orders in 10 minutes like you normally would do in a normal a la carte setting. So that's been going. It's been working nicely. And
because there was a lot of people there, and you kept up. I even left with a bucket of oyster shells, which was even better. So that was
yeah, they love them oysters. They are killing them. So yeah, it's been great. So that part's we're really excited to kind of continue that through September, and again, then we get really pretty busy with some fall events into October and some weddings. So it's looking good. On the marketing side, just it's been busy with Top Tracer, trying to drive the Top Tracer and the smokehouse and the new menus has been kind of the push. Got our emails, social media, continue to buy ads. We did the radio promotion for Top Tracer, which went very well. We're looking at some digital with the radio stations next. The whole website has a fresh new look. So I think we shared it last month, but please keep digging into the website. It's a big website and a lot of pieces, and trying to get it launched mid-season was important with Top Tracer, because we wanted to tie that together, and adding the new reservation piece and all that was a pretty big lift. But Andy did a great job, and the staff did a good job kind of reviewing it and building it out. But important that everybody sees it and looks at it, and you never know if there's a bad link or something goofy. So we just appreciate everybody's help on that. So love your feedback on that stuff. In-house signage has been a big part of the promotions. we did talk with the township, and we'll be putting 2 banners up on the corner of Veterans Park again. So we'll have some information about Top Tracer. We'll have some information about the smokehouse, and what we're doing with the new menu for the public house, and we'll kind of tie that together. The 2 banners on the front fence will get switched over as well, so they'll get freshened up. So that'll look a lot nicer coming in, something new for folks to look at as well. So yeah, just kind of pushing it together now with the new website. Andy's working on some SEO products that will help us again share more data and track all our top hits and keywords and different things. So a lot of work we're doing there.
Mike, did you get straight with the township? And I think I don't know if they're calling it Community Pride Day, but the Community Day where you guys will have something set up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we'll be there for Community Day.
28th, that's Saturday, the 28th. Yep.
28th. Yep. So we'll be doing basically what we have done in the past, where we'll be set up behind the township's table over in the ball field, so that we can set up the snag and create a little golf atmosphere. And obviously we got 2 big things to push with Top Tracer and the new menu and the events. So we'll have a lot of information out to them there. So that one, and then Harvest Day we'll be doing in Yardley as well. So they're both good events for us to be at, local community events that we enjoy being at.
Mike, can I just add one thing about the site real quick?
Yeah.
Yeah, just to piggyback on that, something new that we all thought was important is to try to do a hole by hole kind of overview. So if you go on the site and you look through, you'll actually see kind of a holes 1 through 18, your T view, your green view. And the hopes is if we can, as we continue to get the technology tuned in, maybe we do a kind of a course kind of flyover kind of thing with we can get a drone, or how that has to work. We work through what we need to work through with that, but pretty neat from the from a new customer's view. If they had never seen the golf course, they can certainly see it better now.
Right.
The drones would be great. You guys are probably close to a no-fly zone because of Mercer Airport, so be careful with that.
Yeah, we are. Yeah. Yeah, it would be nice to get one of those running through. So we're working on that. Capital side, a lot of painting that needs to get done. That's kind of on the list. So we'll be going back out and kind of looking at that for next year. And we're doing a lot of little stuff in house that we can do with Jim and some of our staff. Bunker project, obviously, we'll pick up. We'll fill you in on the actual bunkers we'll be doing. I have them in my notes, and I'll get those out to everybody with that walkthrough that we did. Couple of little things. DVR in our security system is getting replaced tomorrow. So that was it's there. It's just noisy fan kind of thing. One of those that needs to get replaced. So a little unexpected, but needs to get done. And then we put a new shed in. You may have seen as you came in, the old sheds were part of the previous contract with Open Air, and the caterer owned those sheds. So when they pulled those, we put a smaller shed in there for us to use for storage, and kind of double as a bridal suite as well. So we'll be dressing that shed up. But it actually looks really great. It's a perfect little fits the space perfectly. It really looks nice. So that's about it on our end. I don't know if anybody's got any questions, or I did want to make one note on the financials, or maybe 2 notes on the financials. On the revenue side, when you look year to date, please remember on the second page, there's a transfer from Golf Capital Reserve. There was a budget of $165,000 to be transferred. We have not taken that transfer. So when you're comparing the budget, we look like we're behind 165 on that line, but theoretically that would have been a borrow from the general fund. So that did not happen. So no money was pulled. And so we're actually on a net side about 60,000, 70,000 ahead of budget right now. So when you add that back in against budget. The other two things on the financials is because lessons are so busy. Remember, we pay those out through the payroll, so it does look like our golf payroll is up, but that's really a direct impact on lesson revenue being up. And the same for banquets. Some of the payroll looks higher. Some of it is higher because we're kind of brought in some staff to make sure we were prepared and launching the smokehouse grill, and we expect the payroll to kind of fall back in place next month. But with banquets being up, of course, that revenue, some of that gets paid out to service fee and the labor on food and beverage, so it does increase labor. So the numbers are tracking pretty good. The other one is on the equipment leases. Also note, will look like we're ahead of budget or look like we're over budget because we're working on a 6-month plan and it was budgeted on 12 months. So that'll stop in October. Looks like we're 22,000 over budget. We'll probably be about 10,000 under budget year end. So that'll kind of catch up. So there are just a few big numbers that, may jump out at you when you're looking at the financials on a whole. And that's about it that we had. If you got any other questions.
Let's do a quick round the horn. So committee, come off of mute if you have any questions. Pat, anything? Any questions, concerns, observations?
No, everything looks great. Keep up the good work. I was out there last, I guess, a week and a half ago and got a chance to play. So,
Great. Thanks, Pat.
Can't hear you now, Pat.
I froze up. I had to go out and come back in.
I don't think it for us, yeah.
Joe, anything from your side? Any questions, concerns, observations?
Not really. You guys gonna do something with the maintenance building? We're gonna do something, clean that thing up a little bit?
Yeah, we got some prices for the wood to finish up that trim and do that, Joe. So yeah, it's definitely on the list. I kind of had it under the painting column there, but yeah, that wood trim would have to get all redone and then repainted.
Excellent.
Colin?
No, I'm good.
Mark?
Oh, good month, though.
Thank you, Mark. Pat, we lost you at the end of yours. I don't know where you dropped off. You're good. I'm good from my side. I was there, played this past Thursday night with my wife and the prior Friday night with my wife. And the only comment would be, we came in when we were done golf. So it was just after 8 o'clock and they were done serving food. So, the question there is, is there any thoughts to, at least on a Thursday, Friday, maybe stay open a little bit later? Now summer is getting closer and it's getting darker, but just, and I know help is hard to find, but just, I feel like you had some opportunity there the 2 nights I was there that could have been.
Yeah, we actually were talking about that today when we were talking about the restaurant manager position and hours of ops, and the dinner and the a la carte is something we'd love to continue to build on. We think the Woodside Grill will and can help that. So I guess right now we don't have a plan to keep it open later with the staffing. But if we get kind of caught up here and we can build demand, then yes, I think we'd have to stay open a little later for a la carte if we're gonna complete dinner, a dinner menu that way. So
college football starts in 19 days, so you got some opportunity on keeping people there as well for some of the games.
Absolutely.
All right. Committee, I don't have anything else. As you know, Jim is out. I'm sure he'd love to hear from everybody. If you have, send him a text or an email. Let him. He's recovering, but it's going to be a long road for him. So if you feel like reaching out, I'm sure he'd appreciate to hear from everybody. Helen was in the lead tonight, and as I said, Dave was dropping his child off at school. So nothing else from our side. So I think we just need a motion to adjourn. We do have minutes, but we'll wait till the next meeting.
Make a motion, we adjourn the meeting.
I'll
Second.
second.
Thank you, Mark. All in favor? Patrick,
Aye.
give us a thumbs up. Thanks, everybody. Everybody have a good night.
All right,
too.
thanks, everybody.